Hi, I'm Reed. This is Croyland Publishing. Today we're talking about doing the voices. We're talking about the performance of NPCs. Not about the writing and design, just about the performance. Microphone's in shot today. I'm trying to get louder videos, and the technical stuff is, as it always does, defeats me very, very easily. But I got an email from an old friend, and she wrote to me, Christian, I have started to play pen and paper RPGs. I'm excited, I'm having a good time, but I want to know, should I do acting courses or should I do improv courses to get good at being a DM? Now, this is quite beyond me. I've been running RPGs for over 30 years, well over 30 years, and I've never taken an acting course. I've never done anything like that. I did a high school play, which I hated. I hated acting. So it just really took me by surprise, but I actually sort of put on my thinking cap, and it's been a discussion that I've had a few times in the last few years about people saying, what courses do I have to do to improve my skills? How do I become a better actor? And of course, you're not an actor when you're in an RPG. You're a player of an RPG. You're a PC or you're a DM. And that's it. You are the audience and you are the actors, and these two things are not the same as improv, and they are not the same as acting, and they should not be mistaken for each other. For starters, acting's a serious discipline. No matter what you might see on certain terrible TV shows with underpants models with their shirts off and six packs, acting's serious. It's a serious discipline. It takes, it's 4 years of training to become an actor. It's not something that you can just jump into. Improv, same thing. It's a very, very specific set of skills that you can learn. But here's the thing, is that you don't need them either, because you're not really improving. Not in the same way that someone looking for laughs is. You're not looking for the same sort of audience reaction that improvs are. You are looking to play an RPG. And it is important not to mistake the discipline and the art of an RPG for the discipline and art of a theatre actor, an improv comedian, or anybody else. You are playing an RPG. And yes, there are skills that can be improved, but ultimately, it's not a matter of being the best. RPGs are not competitive, and I think it's a mistake to view them as a kind of hobby that you need to reach a certain level at. It's not golf. It's not about that. And also, and I'm really a strong believer in this, RPGs are democratic and cheap. You do not need money to play an RPG. You don't even need a bloody rulebook anymore. You can just do system reference document stuff. You don't even need dice. What you need is mates and imagination. And that to me is exciting, and that to me is the essence of RPGs. You just need friends and imagination. Anything else is just icing on top of an already pretty bloody delicious cake. So no, I do not think that you need to improv. I do not think you need to learn how to act. I think that you should, if you think it's fun. I'm sure it's very, very fun for some people. They seem to like it. Improv is a pretty popular hobby with a lot of people. And I know a lot of people who have found their writing was improved by acting lessons. Their confidence was improved by acting lessons. So you should go for it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying that you do not need to be great at being a DM. You do not need to be excellent at doing a voice. And I assume that this is in part because of things like Critical Role. I think that turning gaming into something to watch like a TV show is an interesting experiment, but it's not for me, because I want to play the game. That's, to me, the whole point of an RPG, is that I want to play with the people I am watching. All right? It's like watching a TV, but just listening to the audio. What's the point of that? I mean, yeah, sure, you can have a good time, but you're not really in the media. And again, I'm not criticizing those shows. I'm sure they're great. I've seen a few of them. They're pretty fun. But you should not compare yourselves to people who are professional, trained actors who are paid a lot of money for it, and whose only really marketable skills are doing cool voices, and being professionally charismatic. However, I think that it is worthwhile talking about being a good performative DM. So let's get into that. I promise you that if you're a DM who cares and who works hard and who likes the players, they will appreciate your work and they will like your game. And if you are a player who does, and I've done other videos on this, who is fun to game with, no one is going to care whether or not you had a crazy accent. That being said, let's talk about how to do some basic performance techniques. All that being said, let's go over some pretty basic performance techniques. And of course, please remember, I'm not an acting coach or an actor. I'm just some bloke who likes to pretend he's an elf. So a lot of DMs start out being purely descriptive and purely narrative. The blacksmith says that he can repair your armor for 5 coppers. The princess says that she will go with you back to the dragon's lair. The cleric says that they can lift the curse if you find the shin bones of the saint. Alright, purely descriptive. All you need to do, now I tend to use purely descriptive as just saying, look, this is not actually very narratively important. So if I'm describing things rather than acting them out, people know, oh, okay, this isn't part of the intended story. That's not the be all and end all of that, but just for now. Then, the first time you're doing it, you just act it out. Yes, I can. Yes, sir, I can fix your suit of armor for 5 coppers. Oh, yes. I'm afraid of the dragon. It did abduct me and try to eat me, but you're right, the kingdom does need help. We can lift your curse, but you will need the shin bone. And it's just very, very simply, very, very minor performances is where you should start with an NPC. You don't need to act. You don't need to go over the top. You just need to think about who the character is and just easy. Now, there's a few other very simple techniques that I recommend to anyone starting out. Speed of talking. A character who is slow to talk, especially if you can lower your voice, comes off as commanding with gravitas. So, you don't give that to some scumbag were-rat you're trying to, rough up in an alleyway to learn where his master is. You might give that to a lord. You might give that to you can give the same thing to a lady where she is quite strict and still slow because you will listen to her because she assumes that you will pay all close attention because she's important. Slow it down, lower the voice. It says a lot about a character who will not be rushed. Same time, speed it up. Someone who is untrustworthy and just wants to get out of there. I don't really know anything about that. I have to go. I really do have to go. No. Stop. Okay. I'll tell you. Yeah, it definitely happened on Mott Street. It definitely happened on Mott Street. Okay, I'll go. You should go and check it out now. All right. So that immediately talking too fast. That that something is wrong. The mental state is agitated. That immediately tells you something about the NPC, is that they're shifty, they're untrustworthy. Or perhaps they're just a scholar, just a very, very scatterbrained scholar, and they're just trying to remember something like, wait, I remember. It was the third age, and it came from the Shadowfell. Oh, yes, was it the Shadowfell? Yes. So, again, immediately, same technique can create a different kind of NPC, and you don't have to go over the top with the acting. It's just a matter of delivery. And of course, you can create a very, very powerful NPC just with speech affectations. Maybe the person only refers to himself in first person. Yes, you have come and found the great cleric Tharn. Tharn will speak to you now, aren't you, Tharn? I am Tharn. Tharn is Tharn. creates, immediately a sense of pomposity and grandiosity if you want to do it like that. Perhaps this is someone who just you want to set up as an enemy. Therefore, they just, what? Yes, impatiently, just, all right, yes, fine. That will annoy players. And again, you created a powerful sense of characterization just through vocal delivery. A mumbler, was it? A guy who looks down at her feet all day. Someone who whispers a lot is always going to be creepy. Just these simple matters of just changing the way that people talk will create rich NPCs for you. The next thing is accents. You don't need to do accents. A lot of people feel silly when they're doing accents. But there's a few things to think about here. Now, if you are in a real world game, that's a different discussion, but I'm just going to stick with D&D right now in fantasy, right? It is a common trope, for example, in fantasy, in that dwarves talk in this kind of Scottish accent that doesn't actually sound anything like any kind of Scottish accent. In fact, if you're Scottish and you're listening to this, you're probably looking forward to, stitch this. That's fine. It is not a Scottish accent. It is a dwarven accent. And you should feel free to sound like you are doing a very, very bad accent if you want. I like to do sort of, every time I'm doing like Dark Elves or some kind of other organized evil race, I kind of, not always, but I like to play around with various kinds of German sounding accents. This isn't really how German sounds. It's not any kind of human accent. It has more to do with cartoon characters like Maria Bamford's dog than it has anything to do with real accents. So remember that you can't get an accent wrong, and you can't do a bad accent if you're not trying to do a human accent. So feel free to play around with that. Feel free to play around with getting it wrong. Just try it. Try a South African accent. It doesn't matter that it's not good. In fact, I actually sound more like I'm kind of like a vampire with no money when I try to do this vampire South African accent, right? But it kind of works. It's kind of a recognizable, I am not speaking with my native Australian accent. And if you try and break away from your American, English, whatever accents, you will have some success. If you do want to get good at accents, I'm sure that there are other YouTube videos which are going to teach you a hell of a lot better than me. But I find that if I'm trying to get good at something like that, if say I'm washing the dishes, or I'm tending my garden, or I'm walking the dog and no one can see me, I will just say, and now I'm washing up the plate, and now I'm stacking the dishwasher, and I will just narrate it. I will watch films with characters and actors with their native accents on, and I will just follow along. I will just say it and repeat it. You get good at stuff by just repeating it over and over and over. That is, to me, a technique that has never failed. Then apply it. Put it into your game. The dragon says, "Oi, I am the dragon of the north. I am the Viking dragon." So what? That's terrible. I wouldn't ever do that voice, but that's only because I've done a lot of accents. But for you starting out, feel free, because the worst that can happen is that you just drop it, And if people like the accent, they'll say, "Oh, what happened to his accent?" And if it didn't really work out for them, they'll just not bring it up. So again, you do not need to be a professional quality accent actor. You don't need to be on TV to have these skills, to do these sorts of things. Just try them out with your audience of 5 or 6 people. They're not going to think you're silly. They're probably going to be really think that it's funny. Is the worst thing that can happen is that they'll have a bit of a laugh and then they'll move on. And the best thing that can happen is that they'll probably go, "Wow, cool. You're trying. That's great. And the more you do it, the more confident that you will be. And eventually you will get up to a good accent. I used to run a vampire campaign, and one of the characters was a art dealer who's like, "Oh, hello, darling, kiss, kiss. Oh, I love you. Oh, it's so beautiful. What are you wearing? Oh my God, it's oh, denim. Oh no, out. You can't possibly be seeing it. Oh, have you seen his new work? Every piece is a performance of pure poetry throughout his entire life. Oh, I've fallen in love with him, but his personality is terrible." It was a fun NPC, and all I had to do was overact, and people liked the NPC, and they eventually would seek her out, and so I killed her because I'm mean. And the next thing that you are going to use is very easy, especially if you run a game from your house, because you've got this stuff lying around, is props. Very, very simple. Stick on a pair of sunglasses. Stick on a hat. This is my dog walking outfit. It's very, very simple, and it can immediately create an NPC for you. There's a reason why props departments are important. There's a reason why costuming is really, really important. Grab a scarf, grab something, put that on for specific NPCs. It's a little bit of work, but it's an effective and good technique that you can use. So I think that we've run a little bit longer than I wanted to. I hope the sound is better on this one. So that's it. That's a few basic ways that you can run an NPC without having to go and learn how to be a bloody professional actor. You don't need to do that. You just need to have mates, and you just need to have an imagination. I hope this was useful. I had a good time doing it because I like doing the voices. Please give me a like. Really, really helps me out. I'll see you next time. Bye now.